So he will tell you that he's got a snake, and every Wednesday, every week, in his account, you always like got 500k.
From where?
I don't know. He said it was coming from that Utwala thing of his, because it wasn't working at all. I got so scared to a point whereby I could feel like I'm numb with fright. I can't like shift. I can't do anything. Like I'm so scared. Because I know if someone confesses about what they've been doing, after that they will kill you, because they know very well you'll go out there and say whatever you want to say. And he knows I work in the media. I'm a journalist.
Sis Zanele, how are you?
I'm good. Jesus, how are you?
You don't seem like a person who talks a lot, because even your voice is like, I'm good, eh?
I do talk a lot. If only you knew. No, I'm introverted, but I've got my tribe.
Yeah.
When I meet my tribe, I do talk.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like my hair just like loosens. When I start talking, I stop.
Nah?
Yeah.
You are that person who's always talkative at all times.
Not at all times.
Yeah.
I've got people that I can talk to. But there are people, when I'm around a lot of people, I just clamp up. I just clamp up. I can't talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you shout sometimes at people?
I'm not good at shouting. I can't shout. My voice can't shout.
Because when I look at you, you seem like a person who's, a little bit more emotional time to time. Are you that kind of a person?
Hey, it's tricky. It's a tricky one. Yeah, sometimes I'm too emotional, but sometimes, I have got a lot of characters.
You could be an actor.
Yeah, because 1 minute you can look at me and think I'm this just naive girl and someone that you can use. The next minute you are like, yay, this person is like this. So people actually, when I meet them for the first time, they think they can easily manipulate me.
Oh.
Only to realize that I'm bully proof. You can't bully. The moment you try to bully me, I will bully you so hard. You're gonna cry.
Ngiyakusaba manje yazini. So for people that don't know who you are, who are you? Where are you from?
My name is Zanele Mthembu, aka Change Kombane.
You also have an AKA?
Yes, because when I was born, my dad gave us all C names, and they are very unique.
Oh.
So the firstborn is Choice, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Secondborn, he's deceased, it's Charity. Then comes a girl, Chance, Cheers. Then comes me. Then comes boys, Charles, Cheerful, Challenge. So you can tell those names that they're just. So yeah, my name is Zanele Mthembu, aka Change Kombane. I am Zimbabwean. I am the founder and director of Zani Casting Agency, an acting agency that is making waves out there.
Yeah.
But it's young. It's a few months old, but we've already started shooting with different production houses.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So my dad is Mozambican, and I know a lot of people, some people, they haven't been to Mozambique. They have their own idea of how Mozambique is. And I know that the media is not doing any justice, because we always show the poorest places.
Yes.
But in Zimbabwe, I haven't been to Zimbabwe. I wish I could go to Zimbabwe. How is it like growing up in Zimbabwe? And Zimbabwe as a whole, maybe where you grew up in, how is the place there?
Zimbabwe is a very nice place. Yeah, you have to remember now, I didn't grow up now when we've got this whole inflation thing.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, Zimbabwe had a functional economy. It was called the breadbasket of Africa.
Yeah.
So meaning we were just like living the way you guys are living. We had our own problems, but we had a currency that could like buy. So it wasn't about you having to wake up every day and thinking, Gizodlani, where am I going to go? Our what do you call this? Our media industry, our music industry was sprouting. Tourists were all over the place. So it was just like one good space to grow up in.
Yeah. How did you find yourself in South Africa?
Okay, after finishing school, after finishing my A-levels, remember, we are not like you. We don't only have grade. It's grade what? It's
grade
12.
1, yeah.
So we have got grade. You have got grade 12. We've got grade 12 and grade 13. It's like Form 5 and Form 6.
Wait, what?
Yes.
So after passing grade 12, you still have to go to grade 13.
We've got primary level is grade 1 to 7. Then secondary level is from form 1 to form 4. And then high school is from form 5 to form 6. So our matric has got 2 like grades. We don't only have 1 like you guys.
How long does it take you to complete those 2 grades?
It's 2 years. 1 year you're in form 5, second year you're in form 6.
And then after you get to go to university?
Yes, you get to go in. When you finish form 4, you can go to college. You can study whatever you want to study. But if you want to go to varsity, you have to go to form 5 and form 6.
You're crazy, man. The educational system is... I'm sure when you go to South Africa, you were a bit mad.
I don't want to lie to you. Even now, I can't figure it out how it's... Because to us in Zim, when you say someone is going to pass with a diploma, he's now in tertiary. It's someone who's graduating with a diploma in whatever. So when you say someone is in matric and you tell me about diplomas, now I don't understand what you're talking about. So I think I just have to sit down and have to follow. How do you guys do it?
Yeah. But Zimbabweans are intelligent. You guys are smart, yo. I don't know how the quality of education that you guys have, but most Zimbabweans that I know, yes, they're smart business-wise. I'm sure if maybe the government would invest more, yes, it can bring out so many people, so many smart people. So you got to South Africa. What was the plan?
Remember when I was saying when I was in form 5, form 6, that is when Zimbabwe's economy started deteriorating.
Yeah.
So it means I had to look down south and come this side, because then was when Zimbabwe was using trillions. Our currency, like we were using billions, and we started using trillions. You could be talking to your little boy, and you'll be like, "Where did you see my 30 trillion there?"
Yeah.
And someone will be thinking 30 trillion, and you want to buy bread with that.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I thought it was just the media propaganda.
No.
So you'd buy bread with like 1 trillion.
Yes. And then that was the time when you could go to the shops, you find the shops are empty. There is nothing. There is only salt and water there. So there was no other way out apart from just like, that's when there was a lot of brain drain, when people were moving from Zimbabwe to overseas, from Zimbabwe to South Africa, from Zimbabwe to, because we were looking for greener pastures. So that is when I had to come to South Africa. I didn't want to come to South Africa because I grew up being this genius child. So to me, I had to do something in my own country. Then I was going to travel the world. But South Africa has never been an option, because remember, in Zimbabwe, we also have propaganda. As you say, you're always shown the other side of Zimbabwe, the other side of Mozambique.
Yeah.
In Zimbabwe, we are never shown this kind of South Africa. To us, we don't, if you are not someone who reads like I do, you won't even know that South Africa has got a lot of languages. You'll be thinking, yeah, Goli. Because to us, Goli, we think is the whole of South Africa, and we think you guys speak Zulu, and we think you guys are always shooting each other. You are too violent. There is a lot of crime. You can't even walk on the street. So South Africa is portrayed as this other, a very, what you call this? Like a criminal sport where you can't even survive walking on the street.
So that's how the media on the other side would portray South Africa as.
Yes, especially when I was at school, my teachers used to bring Drum magazine, and so they always featured a lot of stories where school kids, maybe they showed a teacher at school, or they produced. Remember, Zimbabwe, it's rare for me to see a gun. Even policemen don't carry guns. They've got that bar and stick that security officers use. So for someone to tell me about a gun, I only visualize a gun. Remember, I grew up in the village. There are no TVs there. So I can only visualize what a gun looks like, or maybe when I see it, maybe in a book or something. Now we're talking about a child producing a 9mm pistol at school. So I'm thinking, no ways. I can't stay in that place.
Jeez, man. When you came into South Africa, how old were you?
I was still very young. I was 19.
Yeah.
But I was already a mother then.
So you took your child with you into South Africa?
No, I left him at home. He was a year old. I left him at home, and I came this side.
Zanele, why would you leave a child, a 1-year-old, in Zimbabwe, then you come to South Africa?
He was with my mom. She wasn't going to allow me to come with a child. I was still a child myself. She couldn't even let go of me. So now she has to let go of me and her grandchild.
Yeah.
No, she couldn't let go of her grandchild. She loved him so much. So there was no way. So I had to actually. The reason why I had to come to South Africa was because I had tried everything. Remember, after finishing matric, you can still, like when you are waiting for results, because results then used to take a long time to come out. So you will write during November and wait for the results up till March. So during that time, you can apply for a temporary teaching position where you can either teach at high school or primary school, wherever you can get that a vacancy. So I did teach, but there was no functional currency. So I'd be told that you'll be paid such and such trillions, and those trillions are not there. The banks are not functional. So there is no way. I'm just like working for nothing. So I had to just come to South Africa.
So where's the baby daddy? Because there's no way that the baby daddy is gonna allow you just to leave the child. You're still breastfeeding, Zanele. You're going to another country.
Let me tell you something when it comes to baby daddy, like the way I got pregnant, I was going through a lot of stuff. I had gone through that stuff ever since I was a kid. So I had a lot of childhood trauma. I think when I met that guy, it wasn't me dating him. It was me looking for a safe space. You understand? So he didn't understand, because I think even now, guys don't know how to comfort a woman when she's crying. You don't know how to comfort us when we are emotional. Most of you think doing that deed is a way of comforting. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how we look when we are crying. Angazi. So that's how we ended up. Because I was still a virgin then. So to me, it's like I broke my virginity the same day I got pregnant, because I don't remember myself engaging in any other sexual encounter with a guy. I hated him from that day going forward. Even when I told him that I was pregnant, it wasn't about including him in my life. I told him that I don't want you. You can be there in the baby's life if you want, but I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to be a makoti. I'm not ready for all of that. Because I cried a lot when I discovered that. Why? That was the time when my results came out, and as an A student, I had excelled, so I was supposed to go to varsity. Now I'm thinking of my dreams, because you can't go to varsity when you're pregnant in Zimbabwe. You can't even when you are still at school, when you get pregnant, they don't allow you to come to class. You'll have to stay at home, give birth, then you can come back to school. So to me, it was now like my dreams were being wasted, because now I'm supposed to be a mother, and I can't abort my child because I love him. So in as much as I loved my kid, I didn't want the father in my life. I felt like he's not up to my standard anyway. Because remember, growing up in Zimbabwe and being this child who's so smart, you are thinking, hey, Mina, I want to be a doctor, I want to be this, and this guy is nowhere next to that. Now I'm thinking, okay, now you are now supposed to be in the same space. No way, you're gonna be the father, but now I'm gonna take care of my kid.
You speak about he was not in your standard. I'm trying to understand the difference between your standard and his standard.
Okay, that's why I explained that then. I get it, it's then. Now I understand standards in a better way than I was then. I was still a kid. I was from
Zanele.
school. And remember, I'm this student from primary school. I've been this excelling student. You see that student that they take from grade 1, and then she has to go and write tests with grade 5s and still aces the test. That is who I was. So I jumped a lot of, because there is a lot of stuff that I talked about. People already know that. So me now having to go and date this guy, I don't know whether he even finished high school. He didn't. So in my own, not only me, but in my society, people had high hopes for me. Because I'm always this girl who was taking all the prizes at school, who was always traveling the country, was a junior parliamentarian. So to me, Robert Gabriel Mugabe was someone that we used to meet as junior parliamentarians and talk to him as the youth. So now I'm supposed to downgrade from there, because everybody was thinking, hey, this one. Remember, I never had the plans of, whenever I was planning my life, I never thought I was going to be a mother. I thought I was just going to graduate at varsity, do my media thing, travel the world. And then when it comes to kids, I was thinking, I'm just going to donate to charity, build a home where whoever doesn't have a place to stay, they can come stay, and they have a family house where everyone can come bring their. So my kids are going to be my nephews, my nieces, whoever. I never planned that I was going to have kids. So it just came as something that I never expected. But anyway, I love my kids.
Listening to what you're saying, it seems like you sort of wanted to become like a rich auntie. And there's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that, right? And now you're in Zimbabwe, but there's certain things that you cannot achieve because of the economy is not doing well. Then now you think of, you know what, let me just go to South Africa.
Yes.
What were you looking forward to in South Africa?
In South Africa, it was just greener pastures. You know, when you are living, it's like when you are living a war zone. Like maybe you are living Somalia. You don't think about, hey, when I get there, what am I gonna do? You
Yeah.
just wanna run away from the poverty, and you just wanna go there because South Africa actually, despite being the crime hotspot area in Africa, just like I said, it's portrayed that way. But it's also, remember, our ancestors used to come here when they were working at the mines. So to us, South Africa is that place of gold where anything is possible. You can go there and come back unemali and try so hard to push and eradicate poverty in your family or whatever. But when I came to South Africa, that was the idea. I didn't think about what am I gonna come here and do. I never thought about I'm gonna be a maid or whatever. All I wanted was to make money. Everyone, when they come to South Africa, they're thinking of making money. How they're gonna make the money, it's a story for another day.
I
Yeah.
want us to talk about the relationships that you went through. And this is literally the title of why we are having this conversation.
Yes.
Because you went through multiple relationships whereby you've been raped, which is something that is hugely wrong. And also you've been abused as well. But the most important part that I think it's more interesting, you've been in, I think, 2 relationships, if not 3, whereby you dated men that were using, I don't know, a snake for them to get money. In Zulu, they say uktwala, you know. But just take me back, the first man that you met in South Africa that you felt like, this guy is actually a little bit better than what I left in Zimbabwe.
Okay. Yeah. It was in 20. I've jumped a lot of stages. It was in 2020. It was in 2017, beginning of 2017. So I just also do freelance as a journalist. I'm an all-rounder. I do a lot of stuff. So one of my journalist brothers said to me, we want you, we are going to some meeting. We want you to be there because we need your brains. So we're going to the meeting. It was somewhere in Yeovil. So we went to that meeting, and when we got there, after the meeting was done,
Yeah.
and then people started, like, they wanted drinks, they wanted food, because that where we were meeting is sort of like a restaurant. So people wanted drinks, but they didn't want the usual drinks like about Coke and Fanta and whatever. But there were some of us who don't drink, like spirits. So when we went to the counter, they discovered there were no drinks. They only had about Hennessy and stuff. So now there was this other elderly guy who was seated on the opposite side of where I was seated. He said to me, you can go and buy drinks there at the tuck shop outside. So remember, when I am in a meeting with guys, I always forget I'm a lady. I will always like talk, contribute my whatever. And then when I'm done, I clamp up. I no longer am this social person that you can talk to any time of the day. So when the guy, he gave me 200 rands and said, go buy whatever is needed here, like as in drinks. So there were not a lot of us who didn't drink spirits. I went there and bought some Coca-Colas and Fantas and brought his change. So when I was giving him his change, that was 2017, I think a 2-liter Coke was maybe cost below 20 rand. I don't know how much it was. So when I gave him his change, it was like, keep change. You understand? So I'm thinking, why is he giving me money? Because growing up, our parents always told us we mustn't accept money from whoever. So I'm asking myself, why is he giving me money? So at a later stage, when we were now going home, or we were told that he was the one, because it was late and it was raining. So he was the one who was gonna transport us. Like he said, you can get into my car. I'm gonna like deliver all of you where you at your locations. We got into the car. It was me and this other guy and this other lady. We got into the car. It's funny because I used to stay in Maboneng then. But he had to drive and go, like, drop these other people who lived so far away, Jimmy Steen, whatever. And then he said he stayed in Denfen. He was going to drop me on his way back. So he dropped those. I think they know each other with those people. Now I didn't know him. It was my first time seeing him. So when we were on our way back, it's now the two of us. He's like, come and sit in the front. I don't like feeling like I'm chauffeuring someone because I'm used to being driven around by my driver. So come and sit in the front seat. And then I went and sat there. I was just silent. Remember, I'm talking about Dala, like he's huge like this. You see those ones who are pot-bellied.
He looks like a blesser.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now I'm very tired. I wasn't military than this. So I'm just sitting there. I'm thinking, oh, guys, when are we going to get home?
Were you not scared though?
Actually, I was scared, but I was thinking, anyway, I was with people that he knows. So there is nothing that he can do to me. So we drove, and he was like to me, are you not hungry? Because I saw you didn't eat. I'm a picky eater. So when everyone was eating, I only took only a glass of Fanta orange. I didn't eat. So to me, it was like, why was he watching me? Why is he saying, oh, did you eat? Because I didn't see you eating. I'm like, yeah, I didn't. So he was like, okay, cool. It's funny because he got onto the N1, drove straight as if he's going to Pretoria, Polokwane. Now I'm asking myself, where are we going? And it's not even like, it's maybe around 11 to 12 during the night. So we are in a Porsche. You see that Porsche, the one that Besta used to drive.
Porsche the SUV.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we drove, and then we got into a Debonair's. He said Picoref or whatever. It wasn't a Debonair's. It was like this one where there is a lot of restaurants there. So we had to go to, and then I picked pizza that I wanted, and we got into the car. And I'm telling myself, and I'm a very slow eater, so I always want to eat when I'm home, because when I'm home I can be slow the way I want. So I'm thinking, no, I'll eat when I get home. So the guy drove straight and parked next to GP police station. So I'm asking myself, why is he parking here? Because I stay in Maboning. Why is he not taking me home? Yeah, just like, what do you call this when you take your what do you call this when you make sure that your seat is, and then so that you can sort of like be comfortable, you lean back.
Oh, okay. So he leaned back with his seat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I can tell that this person want to fall asleep. So I'm worried because I want to go home. Now I am introvert. I can only function when I'm at my own space. So when I'm going to a meeting, I know I've timed it. Maybe it will be for an hour, and then after an hour, I can be myself. I'll be home. Now I'm still here. I have to pretend to be this girl who wants to listen to whatever it is, and I'm not interested. So I will come back to this encounter. So we seated there, and then he started talking about life and how he was listening to what I was saying, and how he's so connected, because he was telling me that on the morrow he was going to go meet Kgalema Motlanthe when he was still the acting president. So he was saying to me, don't you want to go with me to Pretoria? What are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. He's like, okay, I will send the driver. What I can say is I will text you when you get home. So let's go now. He said, give me your number. I gave him my number. And I'm asking myself, what does he want to do with my number? I got home. He called and said, are you safe? Because he waited for me to get into to my apartment. And then he drove away. On that very same night, he sent a message saying to me, can I please send my sizes? My shoe size, my dress size, my waist size, stuff like that. So I'm asking myself, why does he want my dress size? But I sent anyway. So... And tomorrow in the morning, he called and said the driver was on his way. So when the driver arrived, he's bringing clothes, and he's saying to me he's going to come and pick me at around 10, 11. So I have to be ready. And then I called him at around 10 and said, I'm ready. And then he took me to some salon. I had to go there, like they had to do my makeup, everything, nails. And then at around 1 o'clock, that's when he drove me and picked him up, and then we drove to Pretoria. So that literally became my life. Like, I would wake up, and then we were supposed to go. I don't know how many times I changed per day, and it was new clothes every time. So the guy was literally taking me everywhere to his meetings, making me meet the people that he was working with, and telling me that he wanted me to... He is Zimbabwean, but he had a South African citizenship. So he had apartments in Maboneng, he had apartments in in Sandton. He was staying at Denfen estate there in Four Ways. So he was sort of like, those guys we don't call them rich. We would call them, it's old money, right? The one that doesn't like even have to wear all these Gucci's and whatever. He just wears his normal clothes because he knows there is no need for him to show that he's got money because he's got it. So we used to travel, and it's funny because you will take me to all these other restaurants that are out of town. We'll go to what you call Little Paris. We'll go to all these places, and normally always it will be me and him. Maybe with all these other guys will be white. Maybe we'll be the only black. I can say couple. I don't know. Only two black people in the restaurant.
Yeah.
So whenever. Then I was busy pushing media. I was busy pushing script writing. We were shooting. We were doing quite a lot. So he used to come. Remember, in this media space, most of us will be starting from scratch. So he used to come to where I would be with my colleagues, and he would come there and buy them food, buy them drinks. So they used to say, "Hey, where is that guy?" Because they know when he's around, they are sorted, and then they will just let me go with him. So funny, this guy doesn't want anything from me. He's not talking about any sexual things or whatever. He only wants me to be there, like he is like Kenneth Mashaba and Likli Dini. That is what he wanted. Just wanted me to be there, like to be this trophy girlfriend that he goes. Maybe he wanted to show his age miss that he can still have a younger girl. I don't know. So fast forward, my mother passes away. I was at an event, and then when I got a message on, I would come back from here, dropped me. And then I left my phone on the charger in the morning when I was supposed to go to another event again. So when I was still doing, like, grooming myself up, I checked the phone. There was a message, an SMS. It wasn't a WhatsApp message. My sister, who is in Venda, had sent me a message saying my mother is passed on. So because I had spent almost a year, the previous year, with her at home, and then she had to go to Mashonaland, where she comes from, for treatment and stuff, because it was a spiritual, those things. So I was so, like, shocked, because nobody like anticipates ukuthi mama kuzofa. You understand? Nobody expects your mother. All of us think our mothers are just immortal. They're not supposed to just die. So when I got the message, I was in denial. I was like, never, not my mom. So when he came to pick me up, I didn't tell him that they say my mom is passed on, because to me, I hadn't processed the whole thing. We go to the event. When we get there, I was sitting in the car with one of my friends, and then out of the blue, I started crying. So I had to go there and call him and say, Zanele is crying. And, why are you crying? That's when I told him that they said my mom is passed on. So he was like, there and there, he called my father back home, because he used to talk to my mom.
Okay.
He called my dad and told him, Hore, I'm gonna take Zanele. I don't know whether what's faster, a flight or the bus. I was like, the bus, because if I take a flight, I will have to drop in Bulawayo, and again I still have to take another bus. And when I get there, the bus is already, because in Zimbabwe we've got buses that have to, like, they it's not like in South Africa where you can get a taxi any time of the day, especially then. Now it's better. Then there will be a bus that is gonna leave Bulawayo at 1 p.m. and if you miss that, then you are supposed to wait for another one tomorrow, the same time slot.
Yeah.
So he went with me there at the, what do you call this place where we get buses to Zimbabwe, booked a bus for me, and then I went home.
Park station, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Remember, I'm leaving the event dressed the way I am, with a small bag. I don't have anything on me. So he said to me, when you get home, he's got a plot. You got, I can't say it's a farm. It's just that cozy place, like, you see that one that has got bungalows, you know those houses that are thatched, those big ones.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of farming that's going there. There are swimming pools, the tennis courts, there, whatever. It's sort of like
It's a big yard, basically.
but it's his own place alone. So there is a neighborhood that has got an affluent neighborhood there. So it was like, when you get home, because I only managed to transact the money the little money that I could, because I'm not like, I know very well that when you get home, you'll go to my plot, you get there, the manager is going to give you my cards that they are just like limitless there. You can do whatever you want. You can shop till you drop. So when you get home, I know it's a funeral. People will need food, you will need this, and you didn't even carry a bag. You will need clothes, you will need this and need this and this and this. When you get home, after the funeral, you can go to the plot and do whatever you want to do there, do the shopping and go back home. But if it happens that something happens there, take your children and go to what? To my place. So because he knew the kind of relationship that I had with my father and my sisters, so he knew that if my mother is not in the picture, it can happen that there's gonna be some family politics. Maybe I might end up being homeless or being disowned. So he was like, if something like that happens, take your kids and go to the plot. It's your home anyway. You can stay there as long as you want. I will have to fly to you. So I got home. When I got home, I met people who were coming from the graveside. Remember, I'm communicating with my sister and my dad, and they know I'm on my way home, and they know I'm my mom's favorite daughter. I was the youngest daughter. We had this other bond with my mom, and I look like I'm just a carbon copy. So for me to get home and meet people carrying shovels and all those tools and telling me that they are from the graveside, they've already laid her to rest. I couldn't even process it. And when I was still shocked, because remember, I'm still in denial. I haven't cried enough because to me it's like, no, maybe when I get home, I will find her. Maybe it's a prank. Maybe they just want me to come home. Because all those things that you will say to yourself to comfort yourself, because to you, your mother can't just be dead just like that. So when I get home and I'm meeting all of these people, and when I get into the yard, because normally when you get into such a space, that's when you start like to realize that this is the true story of what is happening. So now I started crying. And then my uncles who from my maternal uncles, they had arrived also from Mashonaland. So when I started crying, they were like, and my aunts, they were like, why are you crying? Why are you crying? Because it's like, you are not here. You didn't love her that much. So why are you crying? And I'm thinking, I spent the whole year here last year. And the time when she was with them, she was calling me every day. They know I was here. They said, your sister said, well, now you are never taking care of your kids. You are never like here at home. When I are always out there slaying and doing whatever you want with your life. I'm thinking, which sister? Because for her to come home, it's me actually who went back to South Africa and he had to send her money so she can come. Because she was saying she doesn't have money. My mom had said, you are not the only daughter that I have. So I'll go back to South Africa. One of them has to come back here and look after me. You can't come and stay the whole year while some kids are just continuing their lives that way. Now I get home, I'm told that I don't come home, I don't support my kids, and which was a lie. And my uncles bought that story because they don't stay with that. They are from another province. So when I was about to mourn, my mother was told that you are not supposed to mourn here. Why are you crying? So there was no one to comfort me. There was no one to hold me. There was no one to tell me, hug me and tell me that everything is going to be all right. So I had to buckle everything in. Immediately after that, 2 days after my uncles left to go back to their homes, and then I am still of the notion that because I didn't bring any change of clothes because I can see we need this, we need sugar, we need meal, we need this, we need that. So I've got an option. Let me go to the plot and do what I was instructed to do by my boyfriend. Then my sisters are like, no way, you're not going there. You want to run away from your kids. Haibo. How can I run away from the kids that I gave birth to? They are like, no, mom is no longer around. So when I want to leave your kids with us, we are not your mother. Tina, we are never going to take care of your kids. But I'm going to Bulawayo and coming back. I've never neglected my kids before. Why will I run away from them now?
Sorry to cut you. Maybe they saw you didn't come with bags. So they're thinking that when you leave, you're just going to leave anyway.
My guy was communicating with them. And they knew very well that when I left, I was from an event.
Okay.
They knew very well because even when I got home, you were still calling every time. And the good thing about that guy, you would call and talk to my dad and talk to my sister and talk to everyone who's there at home. So they knew what was happening. It was just them being petty. So I went because during the funeral, one of my paternal aunts had to come and stay with us. So I told her that, auntie, now I want to go and do this and this. My aunt was like, so why are you asking for permission from them? Because they are kids just like you. You have to go and do what you're supposed to do and come back home. So the other auntie also said the same thing. She was like, if they don't want to remain behind with the kids, I can as well take them and remain behind with them. You go there, you come back the day after. Then you can take your kids. And then the day when I woke up in the morning and was like, I'm going to catch a bus and go there where I was instructed to go to. Hey, when I look back, the bus, it's just maybe almost 2 or 3 kilometers. And I can hear, this is like, the bus is now coming. And then they're not gonna wait for me. I have to go catch the bus and go, because if I don't catch it now, I will have to wait for tomorrow. And I can hear voices, Mama, wait for us, wait for us. And I look back, it's my kids. They've been told that you are not, no way your mother is leaving you behind. Run after her. She has to take you with her. And then I had to go back, and I just picked whatever was there. There was no time to bat them or anything. I just took them the way they were. And luckily enough, we managed to get into the bus. My sisters told me that they were with my dad then. They were busy. Like, you speak Sotho, a dialect of Sotho, so they were busy like, something like that. So I had to take my kids and then got into the bus. And then we went to the plot. Luckily enough, when we got there, it was a cozy place. So the guy, the plot manager had already been told, because I was communicating with my boyfriend then. Yeah. So I told him that I was on my way, and then he told him to go and pick us at the bus station. So he came and picked us up, and when we got there, there were maids. We were waited upon anyway. There were maids, there were butlers, there were, like, when we got there, the whole thing changed, because even my kids were crying in the bus thinking, where are we going? When we got there, they saw that there were tennis courts, there were swimming pools, there were this, and now they are thinking, wow. So we had people were cooking up for us, we were washing for our clothes. All we did was wake up, bath, and sit and watch the TV. So it was getting boring for me. And then I had to go to town and do my shopping with the kids. Our life just changed overnight. Okay, fast forward. My guy says he's on his way, he's coming. He took a flight, came to Bulawayo, where we were at the plot. I'm sorry, he's no longer with us. He passed away to 2022 December. So it was one of these days when he had gone to there is a guy who was a politician in Zimbabwe called Dumiso Dabengwa. He was his friend. He's deceased now. So he had gone to Dumiso Dabengwa's farm, and he bought, because he loved peanuts, he loved round nuts, he loved what you call this, mealies, he loved that kind of food. So he had brought that food to us during March. My mom passed on during March. It was on the 17th of March. So when he came, he had all those like food stuff. So he came and said to me, I dismissed all the maids because I know they are done with whatever they were doing. Can you please just like boil this stuff for me? So I boiled it, and the boys had already gone to bed. They were busy there in their room. And then he's like to me, so I forgot to switch the gas stove on. Okay. At a later stage, he says to me, can you please just dish up for me because I want to sleep? Now I realize, hey, these things were not boiling. That's when I started like switching on the stove. So we had to sit there in the lounge. And then he said to me, back in that day when because he did go to, hey, that guy was old, hey, he did go to war. So he said back in that day, there was a hand grenade that like injured him under his foot. So he wanted me to bring in a knife so that I could scale away that dead skin. You see, he's got dead skin there, so he's kind of like uncomfortable. So he wants me to. So there was this other thing where I don't know what you call this one, where there are a lot of knives inside, where we store knives, all different sizes.
In the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay.
So I get there and take that one out, and I'm looking, which knife must I take? But I can see this one is too big, this one is, and then I took the smallest one. It was very sharp. So when I got there, he was lying like reclining on the couch. Remember, this person is very, very big. Like he's reclining on the couch, and he's like, his eyes are closed. He's shut his eyes. So I went there and did whatever I was doing, because it wasn't the first time anyway. I used to do it when we were in South Africa. So when I was done, I forgot that knife on top of the table. And then I dished him whatever he wanted to eat, and then we went to bed. So we are in bed, and we were talking about you wanted to sponsor me with a business. So we were talking about the plot, and I was asking him, why is it that the tuck shop in this place is not functioning when you know very well that this whole neighborhood, they depend on it. So it was like, it didn't make any business sense to me. And then he said to me, no, it was functioning all this while, but the problem is the girl who used to work there was raped. And I said, who raped her? Because remember, as someone who has been a survivor of rape, I've been raped by someone who was supposed to protect me anyway, ever since I was 3 years old up till I was in grade 6. So that is a sensitive subject to me. So I'm like, who raped her? She's like, the guy who welcomed you, my plot manager. So I'm like, why are you still keeping him here? And because there are women who are working here anyway, who come here to do the menial stuff in this place. So why are you still keeping him here? He's like, and then he didn't respond. And then I was like, why do men rape anyway? And I was in Swahili. Like, you see that question that you are just like asking no one in particular. You're thinking aloud. He's like, for the pleasure of it. And I'm looking at him. Haibo, for the pleasure of it. Kanjani, how do you know? That's when he said to me, because I know, because I'm a rapist myself. So I'm like, yeah, shut it. I don't want that. Why are you playing around with something like that? I don't
And that
like
time you haven't slept with him?
Yes.
Ever?
Because I forgot to say this, he was diabetic.
Oh.
So he couldn't do anything to me. So he was like, remember, this person is talking to me like that, but his eyes are shut. Even when he's responding, saying for the benefit or for the pleasure of it, his eyes are shut like this. And as someone who's done literature, I know very well any character who speaks like that. It's when someone shuts their eyes, even when they are eating or they are singing, means they can feel this thing from inside. They're actually telling the truth. So he said, for the pleasure of it. And I'm like, Kanjani. That's when he started telling me that he used to be a lawyer back in the day after his war stunt. He came to South Africa. He was a lawyer. And then there was a time when he used to, maybe he would be like driving around and then he meets a girl at a remote area. Maybe that girl is looking for transport. You know, as women, we're always looking for lifts. So you'll give that lady a lift and then they will drive to a place, maybe like a restaurant. You say, can we go and eat? Then they're done eating, you will say, I will drop you where you stay. And then obviously you will relax as a woman because you're thinking, now I've saved money. And then you will drive to one of the most remotest places. And when they get there, firstly, he said he used to rape those women. And then he take them and leave them at a stranded at a remote area. But at a later stage, it got boring. So you would film the whole encounter. He will rape the girl, film the whole encounter so he can watch it at a later stage and then shoot them because he didn't want someone who's going to describe the kind of rapist that raped them. And then at a later stage, it got boring again. So you used to rape the person and then mutilate their body, meaning you will take this body part and this one out and this one out while the person is screaming. And when the guy was telling me this story, have you ever been so scared to a point? Because I could tell he's not lying. Remember, I'm this kind of person who can tell a lie from 10 kilometers away. I was just like, yeah. Why are you lying to me? But I could tell that he wasn't lying. So when he was telling me the story, I got so scared to a point whereby I could feel that I'm numb. With fright, I can't shift. I can't do anything. I'm so scared. And I'm thinking, I'm here in this house, in this place. The only two people who are here in this place are this guy and the rapist one, the one that he said, the one that made us all talk about this issue, the plot manager, except me and my kids. So it's only me, my 2 kids, and these guys. And what if, because I know if someone confesses about what they've been doing, after that they will kill you because they know very well you'll go out there and say whatever you want to say. And he knows I work in the media. I'm a journalist myself, for crying out loud. So I can still run with a story. And he's a known someone and he's into politics. And I can just run with a story, or else I can use the story to blackmail him anyway. So he was like, I can see you are scared, but he went on. He said to me, do you see that knife? Because the time when I was taking out that knife, I am one person who's too spiritual. And my mother, she had just passed away, remember? But immediately after that, I could hear her talk to me. There were instances even now where I can hear her voice. And if she instructs me, don't do this, and I do it, I know there'll be consequences. So that day she had said to me, don't take this knife. There was this voice that was saying, don't take this knife. The time when I was looking for that little knife to go and do whatever under his foot. So I ended up taking it because it was the smallest knife anyway. So he says to me now, you remember that knife that you left on top of the table? Now I'm thinking, Pella, this person, when I was busy with that, his eyes were shut. So how did he see the knife? And it's like, that is the knife that I used to mutilate one of the girls that I killed here in this plot. And he says to me, you remember that picture that is there in Maboneng, that is in Denford, that is in what do you call it, Santon. The one that you, when you arrived here, you had to say to me, when you were on the phone, you said to me, what is it with this picture? Because everywhere I go, whichever house of yours I go to, there is this particular picture. And when I inquired, every time I inquired, you'll say it's his niece. So I'll say, but you've got 2 kids. You've got grandchildren. I've never seen their pictures. Why this particular niece? And you'll just laugh. So he says to me, you see that picture that you always inquired about? Yes, that is the girl that I killed here in this very place. She was South African, she was a student. I brought her here just for the purpose of killing her. So now, out of all the people that I killed, she's not giving me any rest. She is like haunting me day and night. So every time you realize I don't fall asleep, I just like take a nap and then I will just wake up like, because she appears in my dreams, and whenever she appears, she just, the whole thing replays. Like she comes back and she'll be holding something and then she throws all that blood back at me. So I've tried going back to a family. I retraced a family. There are some in KZN. I tried going there and taking their siblings to school, trying to do everything, like buy them groceries and stuff, because of this guilt conscience that I have, thinking maybe in a way she will think like, she will feel like I've compensated for ukufa kwakhe, for her death. But no, Miguel wants me to confess. So there are times when you fall asleep, I will leave you here and walk throughout the whole plot, so that when I come back, maybe I'll be tired, I will sleep for that day. But every time when I wake up at the start, I'll be screaming, because she's there in my dreams every day. So I think maybe his confessing was him trying to clear his conscience. Now I don't know, because I'm thinking, yeah, when it's done, I know I've watched movies when people were like him, serial killers and stuff, when they're done confessing, they will kill you. Now I'm thinking of my kids. I'm not even thinking of myself. So I took my kids from home. Yes, of course, home has got a lot of politics, but I could have stayed home rather than bring them here so that we can be slaughtered like chickens in this house. And who's going to discover us here, because we are so far away from everything? We are tucked so far away from Bulawayo. It's just almost 5 kilometers away from Bulawayo. Who's going to track us? And who's going to discover our bodies? Because this person is moneyed. He can just like do anything. He can ask whoever to take us and dump us wherever. And so that it will take years and years. Remember, my family, it will not like call and check where am I with the kids. They won't. Maybe when my mother was still alive, maybe. Not my sisters and my dad. I know them. They don't care. So I was so scared. I was now even shivering like this. He said, no, chill. I won't do anything to you. If I wanted to do something to you, Miguel, I would have done that long time ago. Remember the first day when we went and bought pizza, and I came and parked my car next to GP, in front of GP's Town police station. He said, yes. He said, remember I got out of the car and opened the boot? I was like, yes. And he said, yeah, inside that boot of that very same car, there is a tape. You see this? That is used by kidnappers to shut you out. Yeah, there is tape. There is this other spray that I use so that I can, like, whenever I spray you, you will like just lose consciousness. And then there is a rope to tie you. And then actually all my things are inside there. And then there is this other USB that you always wanted to play when we're in the car, and I will say, no, don't use that one. The reason why I confiscated it away from you is because that is where all my videos of the mutilation, the killing, the whatever are. So I didn't want you to ask yourself, what is this? So I couldn't do it to you because you were too ngesintu bathi uyangizimela. It was like you were too heavy for me to do that for spiritually. So I couldn't, like, I tried, but I couldn't, because every time I would drive with you to those remote restaurants and stuff, it would be me trying to maybe have a way of doing what I used to do to the other girls. In as much as I know I can't rape you, but the fact that I wanted to kill you so bad, I failed. That is why today you find yourself here, and there is no way I can do that to you, Ankoni. But there is this other particular friend of yours who's always trying so hard to come near me. Even when you came this side, she was calling me saying she doesn't have transport. Can I come and take her? I had to pick her up and take her to her sister's place somewhere in Barclay. You know, that thing came because it's like, it's something that just comes and says, kill this person. You understand? So he had to fight so hard with that edge, because it was like he wanted to do that to the sister and the that friend of mine. So I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know, like it appeared like that night at 72 hours or something. And when it dawned, the first thing that I did was wake up my kids. Please wake up. Now I am preparing them. We are leaving. In as much as, yes, I know I didn't take any cash with me, but I don't want this guy's cash. I don't want nothing from this guy. I just want to live. I don't care even if I'm going to sleep on the street. As long as there's going to be no one who's telling me about dead bodies and twilight and whatever, I'm fine. So he had woken up, and while I was still sleeping, because I did fall asleep, and went to one of his, because it's a very big place. It's nicely built. So he was inside one of his offices. The office that he said, that is the very same office where he killed that girl in. He says to me, always, I was so surprised every time wherever we were at his numerous places, he always liked sitting in front of the CCTV and watching people. You will say, look at that woman. She's working in it. Look at that. And I'll be asking myself, what's so entertaining about watching people on CCTV? So that day he said to me, well, at least I was preparing my kids to leave. Now I'm with my bags and I'm like, we are about to open the door. And he says to me, he calls. He buzzes the intercom and then he says to me, where are you going? I'm like, I want to take my kids. I want to leave. And where? To where? I'm saying, anyway. And then he says to me, you're not going anywhere. And he laughed actually and said, stop being silly. You're not going anywhere. And I'm like, why are you saying I'm not going anywhere? I was like, please just put those bags and make some coffee for me and bring those muffins that you made yesterday. And this guy is acting like everything is normal. I'm like, no way, I'm not coming to where you are. Because he was in that office. He says, yeah, come, I want to show you something. In my mind, I'm thinking, wants to show me these things that he's been doing to this lady, maybe on his laptop or something. I'm like, no, I want to go. I want to live now with my kids. He was like, how are you going to get out of that gate? Because you don't have the keys. And there is no way it's going to slide for you. I deactivated everything. There is no one who's going to come here. Even the maids are not coming. There is no one. It's only me and your kids. So I don't know. When you say you're going to stand there by the gate the whole day. Maybe that's what you want. And I could see that for sure. I'm not going anywhere. So I had to stay there trapped in that plot. And there was no one who was going to come there anyway because he had told his mates not to come. So it was him narrating story after story about how he mutilated those girls, girl after girl, and those kids. The kids are in the bedroom. They know nothing. They are playing their games there. Now it's me. I'm sitting there, and people think I'm okay. Can't I'm not okay. And this guy is just like, I don't know whether he was trying to clear his conscience or what. He's busy showing me all those USBs, and I couldn't watch. I don't want to lie to you. I can't tell you nothing about it. I didn't watch because to me it was like I can't. I just can't. So later on, maybe it was after a week, that's when he said he was flying back to South Africa. So he gave me money and said I can go to my uncle's place where I said I was going to leave my kids and come back. Because I was agreeing to everything that he was saying because I just wanted to buy time. Because I don't know what he wants, what his plans are with me. And he always like comforted me and said, I'm not going to kill you. There's no way I'm going to kill you. Just like you don't feel like I'm telling you this because maybe I just want to clear my conscience and at the end of the day kill you. No, I know you're not going to tell anyone anyway. I know I can confide with you. I've confided in you some of the things that people were going to just go out there, try blackmail me or try tell the media about it or write about it, but you've never written about it. So I'm not going to do anything to you. So the day that he left, justice, I've never been so relieved all my life. I felt, even coming out of some city, what didn't feel that way. I felt like, I've been granted like freedom. And then we went to my uncle's place and my uncle couldn't take off my kids. So I had to take them to another woman's place who used to be my uncle's makoti. That they were divorced with my cousin then. So my kids stayed there at a place called Kadoma. It's in Mashonaland. Because I had to come back. I left my things just like that. I didn't have clothes. I didn't have anything. So I came back to South Africa. And yeah, that was the first encounter that I had with the guy who Owayetwele. So every time he used to call me now, I used to miss him. I didn't take his calls. And then December 2017, he had to say to me, I know you are scared of me, but I wanted us to go to Durban together. I'm like, I'm not going to Durban with you. You didn't want us to fly. You wanted us to take to travel, sort of like wherever we get and it's now night, we can camp there. And so I'm like, never, I'm not going to do that. Then later on, I remember it was on the 31st, he called and said to me, can you please come to Denfen? I was like, no, I'm not coming there. Because when I get there, when I will be talking about dead bodies and stuff, no. He was like, no, this time around, I'm not going to be talking about dead bodies. I just want to see. I don't know what made me go there. Really, I don't know. When I get there, he comes downstairs and he says to me, go upstairs. I'm going downstairs. I'm like, why? We are only the two of us in this house. So he says to me, I am making a call, so I don't want to hear. You said you don't want to hear about dead bodies anyway, so don't come downstairs. And then as I was going upstairs, he's on a call. And he's on a call with this one of the one of the most like these ANC guys. But it wasn't Halima Mahlante. No. So he's talking to him and he's like, okay, I will call my guys now. And he calls the guys and he's shouting at them because they are saying they didn't hit the target. So it's like he's talking to Izingabi. I don't know who was supposed to be the target there. So they didn't hit the person that was supposed to be, that was on the hit list. The hit, Umuntu Justin who wasn't supposed to be hit. So he was screaming at them and telling them of the repercussions, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, this is only 4 o'clock. We're still gonna have to wait up till 12 p.m. see all those fireworks and everything. Still, well, at least I'm still here listening to this guy talking about people being targets and stuff. So I was like, I'm leaving. And then, like the first time, he said, how are you going to leave? You don't have the keys to the house. And I before I forget, one of my journalist friend, after I told him the story in confidence, he did go to that place because the guy had told me that he had sort of like, you see what serial killers do. They have got that hit list and everything, and they do their homework there. They always pin that thing on the wall, like what the subs do or what the FBI do or whatever. So he had something on the wall like that. So one of my journalist friend backed into the house, and then he had told me, the guy had told me that he's got a diary where he lists all the people that he's killed and the targets and everything. Like he follows you. Like he follows what you do, your routine and everything, and then he strikes. So one of my journalist friend, I don't know how he managed to get into that house, and he saw that diary. So he had sort of like, I don't know whether he took it or he had taken pictures of it, but he told me in confidence that, I saw this and this, and I knew he wasn't lying because what he told me was what the guy had told me was inside that diary. So after that, you would call and say, come visit me. I just couldn't go because remember, even if I go there and I'm given a lot of money and everything, but I'm thinking, Imali Lena, you already told me that the reason why he always had that money was because he was worshipping in this other dark kingdom. It's funny because he was, I don't know what he was, but he was this kind of person who used to go to church, who would donate to charity, who will make sure that the pastors are paid. He just does a lot. Like he will take them out for lunch and they be thinking he's someone who's got a good heart. They don't know that the money that he's using has been dedicated to the idols. So that was the first encounter that I had with the guy that was Owayetwele. And then when he passed on, I remember he called me, he was in hospital, they had amputated his leg. So they continuously amputated his legs till they couldn't amputate anymore. That's how he passed away. And then the second guy, this one, I don't even want to talk much about him because he's still there. I don't want to find myself being a target. But one thing that I will tell you is these guys, they go out there and they will tell you, first time you meet them, they will tell you very well that and this one wasn't going to work. His job was to just buy beer and get drunk and ask his driver to take him wherever he wants to take him and date girls, impregnate them. And he will tell you when the girls, it's funny because I had a relationship somewhat with the mother of his kids.
Yeah.
The ones who were pregnant, it was 4 of them. They will call me, Zanele, can you please talk to him? Because when I've got a way of talking to him, when you tell him that he has to buy preparation and stuff, he doesn't want. He will say, I won't buy that preparation. Because I know, so there is no way they are going to live. Whoever is going to carry a child of mine, give birth to them, and they live beyond 3 months, then that kid is not mine. So he will tell you that he's got a snake, and that snake You will always go and buy chickens, 3 chickens, in morning, day, during the day, and at night. And there's a lot of rituals that you will do. You would, I don't know, maybe Zangani Ukuma, where you are supposed to sort of like you're steaming yourself. And that bucket that is steaming himself in is putting himself inside this other big plastic bag. And that one is still connected. That you see those buckets that we use to boil water.
Yeah.
It's connected there. And he is steaming himself. It was part of the ritual. And every Wednesday, every week, in his account, you always like got 500,000 rands.
From where?
I don't know. He said it was coming from that Ugutwala thing of his. Because he wasn't working at all. He used to spend his time, if he's not at home, he would be just like driving around with his driver, because he couldn't drive. He would buy cars and then he look for a driver. So all he did was meet girls, and because girl will be thinking this guy is money, but he will never give you money. I remember one of the days, one of his baby mamas had come to where he used to stay, and he was taking me, the driver was taking me to my place. You don't have to ask me, Justice. I don't know why I stayed. Really, I don't know why I stayed, because I saw everything that was happening, and there were cupboards that were not supposed to be opened. I remember one of his nephews opened the cupboard, one of his young nephews, and there was impepo there was ukamba, you see this traditional pot, and it had upehlo, what you call this one that we used to, you see that one?
For pap.
Yeah, for pap.
Okay.
And there was that one inside, and inside of it there was blood. You see clotted blood, and he said that blood is from the chickens, and that whole thing is for ukutwala kwake. So it's funny because I could even go and sleep at that guy's place when he's not there. And there was a time when I was in braids at my other cousin's place. He was coming from Zimbabwe because I had like hooked him up with the radio stations there, so because he's a singer, so that he could push his music. I remember he was calling from the border and telling to me, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in braids." He said, "I can Uber for you. Can I Uber for you, Mama, so that you come straight home, because I know my things are not okay there. You are the only person who can. When I'm next to you, my things are like they go smooth, they run smoothly. But when you are away from me, like I don't have your light, I can't feel you. I can't feel you on the radar. So I need you to be next to me." So I'm thinking maybe that guy was using, because we talk about people who steal stars and stuff like that. I think, because how can I attract 3 people, like from this guy to another, to another, to another? Kanjani? I think maybe during that time, there is something that happened in the spiritual realm, because immediately after I split from him, that's when I lost everything. That's when I ended up in prison. I was doing crime during that time. I wasn't doing crime every day, but I was still doing crime. There was no way. I was never, because now when I was doing crime, I could dream about everything that was going to happen. I could dream about the place where I was going. Could dream about everything since I was a kid. But after I met those guys, the dream stopped. I couldn't communicate with whoever was the one who was giving me those dreams. They stopped. In as much as sometimes I could get a random dream, maybe if there is gonna be a very big danger, and then I'm being warned. But it wasn't like they weren't coming to me the way they used to. I was no longer attached. Like we were saying before we started shooting, that when you are single, there is this thing about you are pure. You can communicate with God. You can do whatever with the ancestors if you're an ancestor person. But once you start dating, you can even feel that you are no longer pure as you used to. So that is how it was with me, because I moved from this one to this one. And to me, I'll be thinking, I met guys, just simple guys. Now it's people abakhuluma ngokuthwala, that have got snakes. And I don't know why. Maybe there is a way with them. When you get hooked, you can't just leave. I don't know, because I don't think if it was now I was gonna stay. I don't think even then it was logic for me to stay. I don't know why I stayed, really. I can't tell anyone. If you ask me how did it happen, I don't know. Maybe there is muti that they use for you to stay, because the red flags were there. Someone is telling you point blank that I need twele, and they're showing you, and you can see that for sure utwele, but it's still staying. How? And then the third guy that one is someone that I don't want to talk about, because he used to say he used to go to church, but that church is a cult. So he used to say to me, Because we met, the way we met, we didn't meet like, we met virtually. So he used to say to me, whenever I see your pictures, there is this light about you. You've got this light that attracts me. At first I thought maybe I love you so much, because the first thing that he said when he came into my inbox was, will you marry me? I didn't know this guy. And now he sends in these pictures and I'm looking, hey, this guy is a celebrity. Why is he talking to me like this?
Is he a celebrity?
And then he says to me, the reason why he can't meet me, and the reason, because he's scared.
Wait, is he a South African celebrity? Or?
Yeah. Justice Utani Zindaba.
Zimbabwean. Okay, I see. Yeah, you can continue.
There.
Yeah.
I won't go there. What's happening is...
Wait. He DM'd you with what? Insta or Facebook?
It was Facebook.
Okay.
And when he DM'd me, I thought, it's just these random people.
How many followers does he have?
He's got a lot of followers. So now I'm thinking, hi, bo, kanjani? So I check him up. I'm like, hi, Suka. And then he says to me, I know you don't believe it's me. So, okay. I've got a lot of, like, it was before this follower thing. So he had reached 5,000 friends. So he said, I'm going to delete some friends, unfriend them and send you a friend. And that's it. That's what he did. So because now I knew the guy's songs, but I didn't know him. I had never met him. I just knew his songs. There is a song that you'll know, but you don't even know who sings it. So now he starts sending me his pics and he says, okay, send me your number. I send him my number and then the guy starts, the moment that he sent a voice note, so I'm thinking maybe he's talking to me, and he's singing. He just composed a song. First time he speaks with me on WhatsApp. So I'm like sold and like, wow, so you composed a whole song for me. That's when he said to me, I can't meet you because he used to go to this church that is a cult. So he's not allowed to date two women. Already he was married. So he was scared if he meets me with this kind of chemistry that he already feels on a peak. Yeah. So if he meets me, he's scared that he's going to do what the church is saying he mustn't do. So at a later stage, he had to tell me after he had moved away from the church that, that church, they were doing this and this and this and this and this. So I don't know, because this was me towards my going to prison. So I moved from this guy, the one that had a plot, to this guy, to this one, and then I got arrested.
So how did you end up in prison? Is it because of the first guy?
I can't even talk. I can't say it was because of my own doing.
Okay.
I was committing fraud.
Oh.
Yeah, I was committing fraud, but we always had these conversations that I think everyone who does crime, he has got a lot of some sort of connection with the spiritual realm. Actually, you'll be serving a dark kingdom. Maybe that is why you will be meeting people who are like that, because maybe you are in the same level. So the way I got arrested, I'm grateful actually that I got arrested, because for me it was a fresh start. It was me living that life and starting afresh. In as much as people might judge me, because it's funny how when we go out there and own our own shit and say we did this and this and this, the people who are following us, the people who are viewing this whole thing will come out and say, how do you, and judge us? But every one of us have got skeletons in our cupboards. It's only some of us have got the guts to stand up and say, nah, I am going to own my shit in public and say I did this and this and this and this.
So I want to speak about the first guy, the guy who's a little bit bigger. He had multiple properties.
Yes.
And you spoke about him having a picture of this girl that he murdered, right, in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Did he also have like some sort of like an altar, like the second guy that you've dated?
Oh, that one had... the thing is, when I dated that, he was the first guy that I ever dated or who was into rituals.
Okay.
So remember now, I didn't know that he was into rituals. I just thought he was this other guy who was just being good to me. So there was no way I was going to snoop around unless if I saw a picture like that one, and then I just got inquisitive. What is it all this about? But at a later stage, when I got to Denfen, the day that I say he was busy talking to his Ngabi, talking about hitmen and stuff. So there is this other, because it was a triple story. So there is this other room that he always said, don't go. Because he had a wife, he had a girl that he had a baby with him who was my age. She was closer. So the little girl was young. So there was a time when he used to say to me, my baby girl, I don't know why this lady is so like, she left the kid alone and the maid was busy. So the kid like walked straight into that room. the room where nobody gets into except him. So I was like, you've got a room where like that is like out of bounds to everyone in your house. And he says, yes, it's my room where I do my stuff. And I'm like, which stuff? He just laughed. Like, he didn't tell me what stuff. So I think that is the room where he had an altar and he was sacrificing to whoever there. Because with all that he said, and he is was something that is done for almost 20, 30 years. So there was no way that he can't have an altar like that one.
So you were not told what happened to the child when they went into the room?
No, he was just, because the reason why he had to tell me is because he was talking to the mother of the child. He was screaming. Like, he was screaming and saying, why are you so careless? What were you doing actually? What was the maid doing? How can you leave my child to do that? This. And then I was like, why are you screaming? That's when he said, they just let my child get into that room. And I said, which room? The room that nobody uses, that is out of bounds. I'm the only person who can use it. So I didn't want to know much about that room, because remember, he's already told me about Utwala and whatever. So I didn't want to know about all the gruesome details.
What I'm learning is that all of these three guys, they have a lot of money. And some of the money, or maybe all of it, they don't even work so hard for it. Somehow, magically, they just get the money from these cults or, spirits that they are bowing down to, which is something else. So what I'm also learning is that not everybody has money, is actually making their own money in a good way.
Yeah.
Some of them, they actually have those rooms, as you are saying. Maybe they also have like some sort of like, something that they pray to. Maybe they have to pour blood on it and stuff like that, so that they can continue to live the life that they're living. I want to ask you about the two other guys, but you said they are alive, so we don't want any issues.
Yeah, we don't want any issues. And the thing is, what I've realized about all those guys is they don't give money to people that they know. Because with the other guy, I remember we were inside his car. His driver was driving me home, and then we met these complete strangers who were coming to his house because they wanted to ask for imvunulo. You see, this traditional gear that is used by people who go out, these dancers, whatever, the traditional dancers. So these guys, he doesn't know them. They don't know him. They just spotted him, and then they were like, hey. He started distributing 200 rand notes to them. He doesn't know them, but the baby mama was seated next to me, crying because we were supposed to drop her at a place. She didn't have food in the house. The rent wasn't paid. She wanted the preparation for the baby. He wasn't budging, but he was distributing money to people that he doesn't know. So that's how it functions.
Look, I want us to do a part 2 whereby you're going to tell us how you ended up in jail. But for now, let's end it here. Thank you so much for coming through. I've learned so much. I'm sure there's other people out there who may probably date similar people like the ones that you've dated, and they might need help. I don't know how we can help them, but I hope this episode can help them so that they can get out of those relationships before things get bad. And I think that there's also people who've been killed, innocent people who've been killed because of rituals, so that another person can actually make money. So, which is sad. But thank you so much, Zanele. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.